I want to turn now to something that is not news, it's not new, but I saw it on Twitter and I thought it was hilarious. Back in 1991, the New York Daily News had an article about Donald Trump allegedly foiling a mugging. Now, that might sound unlikely, but that's not the unlikely thing about the story. The unlikely thing about the story is that Donald Trump was reluctant to talk about it. It had to be pulled out of him by the reporter at the New York Daily News. So this occasionally pops up every once in a while. Somehow I had not seen it until now. If we could bring up this picture, you're gonna see a picture from the original article at the New York Daily News. Muggers trumped, Donald stops attack. And it only gets more awful after that. So it starts off, call it the Donald to the rescue. No, I will not. When he saw a big guy with a big bat bashing another fellow, Donald Trump did what any self-respecting billionaire would do. He ordered his driver to pull over. Quote, I'm not looking to play this thing up. I'm surprised you found out about it. Donald Trump was surprised that the reporter found out about this and didn't want to play it up. It was just, hey, I'm a good Samaritan, and I guess I'll talk about it if you want. So here is what some people apparently said about the incident. Witnesses said Trump, with Marla Maples tugging at his arm to try to stop him, leaped from his black stretch limousine Monday evening during the assault on 9th Ave near 45th Street. So allegedly, he sees a guy beating someone over the head with a baseball bat from his limo, has the limo stop, and then runs up. The guy recognizes that he's Donald Trump, and for that reason stops beating the guy and they have a conversation. That is what Donald Trump reluctantly says happened. But did it actually happen? So one named witness asserted that the would-be mugger had already run off by the time Trump exited his limo, and the billionaire did nothing more than join a crowd of onlookers after the fact. Well, how could that be? Donald Trump, the do-gooder, just described how he reluctantly got out and stopped this. In fact, his wife, Marla Maples, she was trying to stop him from doing it. Donald, no, you could get hit over the head too. But according to the witnesses there, he saw an incident, there was a crowd, and he joined it. Now, another anonymous witness supported Trump's account, maintaining that the bat wielder had apparently dropped his weapon after being verbally confronted. So that is possible. It's also possible that a crowd of people were yelling at this guy, and that is why he dropped his bat. The interesting thing about all of this is that police say that the attack was never actually reported to them. So at this point, I don't know if he actually, against all odds, put his body on the line to protect a fellow New Yorker, didn't want credit for it, and had to be approached by a reporter who found out about it from who exactly? Who exactly told them that? But fine, goes up to him, and the guy who was beat over the head just decided to go about his day. That's possible, that might have actually existed. But I kind of find it a little bit hard to believe, and I'll describe why in one moment. I just want to give credit first to Ken Klippenstein, friend of the show, who in response to a tweet about this, tweeted back, he was that kid in grade school who said the reason his father was never around was because he worked for the CIA. That's definitely the case. And bear in mind, the reason I'm so suspicious about this is that Donald Trump, as you can see in this article, masqueraded as a publicist to brag about himself. So at this time, Donald Trump was calling up these outlets. I think his name was John Barron, he would give. Later names his son after his alter ego. How bizarre is that? And would pretend to be a publicist talking about the exploits of Donald Trump when it was actually him. So I will say this, I don't know what happened with the mugging. I find it hard to believe that Donald Trump was willing to possibly be beaten by a bat to protect this guy. But I know this, Donald Trump definitely called the New York Daily News. That is why there's this fawning review. And if you don't care about this, I totally understand it, it's not an important story. But this sort of story, writ large, over the late 80s, throughout the 90s, into the 2000s, is how we had Donald Trump at all. It's the reason that you knew who he was and you didn't know who Jared Kushner's dad was. Also partially because he was in jail for some of that time. But it was this sort of fawning coverage, unquestioning, uncritical coverage that made him seem like this bigger than life figure. It's the reason he got The Apprentice in the first place. There are any number of billionaires that could have hosted that show, but this is a guy who was able to sell himself, whether it's on real estate or whether it's on vigilante justice.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.